How we doing, Husker Nation? Well, we all should be feeling pretty good right about now, coming off of a dominant win there versus UTEP. A little shaky first quarter, highs and lows, and we'll talk about that. But overall, through the rest of the game, a very dominant performance. The best season opener we've had, and as long as I can remember. Keep in mind, the last season opener that we even won was in 2019 versus South Alabama. I think that score was like 35-21. So, as dominant of a season opener as we have had, and who knows how long, but it's been a long time, and it feels good. It feels good. I know you guys probably feel the same. How long since we felt this good about a team, our team, after week one? Right now, it gets a lot harder from here on out. When the true test lays ahead next week in Colorado, and you guys can say what you want to say about Colorado, and what I just encourage everyone to keep in mind is North Dakota State is not UTEP. North Dakota State is not a lot of the FCS teams that other teams played. North Dakota State beats Power 5 teams on a consistent basis in their season openers. So, for those of you who watched that game and were like, "Oh yeah, Colorado, that's an easy mark," you can't think like that. I'm telling you right now. So we'll get into all that later on during the week, I'm sure. Colorado prep and all that stuff. Right now, we're here to talk about that great performance we just saw, the victory that we're all celebrating over UTEP. Again, shaky first quarter. We come out with a bang, go down the field, get in the end zone, 7-0, feeling pretty good. Rayola's looking good, run game's looking good. Dowdell running like a Big Ten running back. And with all the questions we had going into this game about running backs, to me, he looked like the guy. And I was like, wow, that's the guy. Rule is just playing smoke and mirrors, and Dowdell is going to be our guy. Then, defense comes on. UTEP comes out with their first drive. They do a lot of smoke and mirrors, moving their players around, lining up in odd trip sets, stack sets, and does nothing for them. Black shirts smack them down the way they should. 3 and out, right? Then we turn around and we went 3 and out. Okay. Then they went on the field and they went tempo. They took a shot over the top of the field and they scored. And what felt like to me 2 or 3 plays. I'd have to look back at it. But it felt just like that. And it was a 7-7 game. And I talked about earlier, just being concerned after the spring game with how many times our defense was taken off over the top by Raiola and Heinrich and the QBs in the spring game. And I was like, oh man, I don't know if that's going to be a concern going in. Turns out we didn't give up a single point the rest of the game. So it wasn't good that it happened. That's the only points we gave up. Look for Colorado to be taking deep shots, and they've got threats at Travis Hunter. They've got threats at I forget that other young man's name. Talented receiver. We'll talk more about that later this week, though. 7-7 game, all right? We're driving down the field with Dowdell again, who I'm like, this is the guy. They ran it a couple times with Ramir, and I was like, man, this isn't the same. It's not working. They hand it to Dowdell. Boom, pops up the middle, probably like 10, 15 yards, and at the end of it, throws the ball, drops the ball, fumble recovered right near the end zone, and damn it, if that wasn't like, hey, here we go with the 2023 aches and pains all over again, because now we're -1 in the turnover margin, just like that. Dowdell, by the way, after that, I don't think played a single another snap, nor he should have, right? Because that's what they said going into it. You fumble, you turn the ball over, you're not going to play. So I could be wrong, but I don't think he played another snap the rest of the game. Black shirts turn around, though. Black shirts turn around and give them that safety. And at that point forward, it was nothing but the Huskers going forward. That turned the tide of the game. I think it lit a fire under the offense, the fumble, where they're like, hey, we drilled this all fall, all spring, not to turn over the ball, and we blew it. And then the black shirts bailed them out, and I think the energy, the belief, and everything just came together. And man, did we lay the smackdown on them the rest of the game, which is exactly what you're looking for. So that's very good. And man, it was like 30-7 at halftime. I think by mid third quarter, Fourth quarter at the latest, we were playing all backups, which is outstanding. When was the last time we've been able to have the luxury? No time last year, for sure. When was the last time we've ever had the luxury to sit there and play backups? And not even just second stringers. We had like third, fourth stringers. We had a cornerback come in. Johnson, I think is his last name, and make an interception there late. So we ended up going +2 in turnover margin today. Remember, we were like -17 last year overall, so we're like +2 today. And Johnson comes in, makes that interception, and Rule was saying in this post-game press conference that he wasn't even, in a lot of the fall camp, he wasn't supposed to play because he came in overweight. And Rule basically said, hey, if you're allowed to weigh 205. If you weigh 206, you're not playing. Today he showed up, said, I weigh 205. Rule let him in the game, and he took one away, right? And it wasn't even a named Frank. To be frank with you guys, I was familiar with before then. So the depth on this team, because second, third, fourth stringers through the rest of the game, we still never gave up more points on defense. Heinrich looked pretty good coming in there. He had the one run where I think he could have banged it back inside and taken it quite a bit down the field, but instead he decided to lower the shoulder on an already blocked safety and hit him a little bit more. That's just Heinrich. I think he just really enjoys contact, right? Physical football player. Happy to see him having fun out there. Gramstead came in. Kalen, I think they're trying to preserve that red shirt. Gramstead came in, we had a lot of different rotation on the offensive line there towards the end, the defensive line, and it was just all around a good dominant effort. I thought the game, to be frank with you guys, was going to be a lot closer than it turned out to be, especially up front. I mean, I thought at least the first half would be pretty close. I thought this would be more like the games we saw last year when we played La Tech, and I think Northern Illinois, where we would win like 24-14 or 34-17 or whatever the scores were. But today was just total dominance. And Alvano made the one field goal we asked him to make. It was only from 20 yards out, but Alvano made the one field goal we asked him to make, so can't ask for a better start. There's plenty to work on. The fumble to me is the biggest thing. You can't give up the ball, especially when that was such a big deal from last year. It was such a big deal all fall and spring camp, and for us to have fumbled in the first quarter to me was extremely disheartening. But I'm glad things turned out the way they did. Stuff to work on going forward. I'm sure Rule will work to get them fixed. Colorado is going to be a big matchup this week. But enjoy it, Husker fans. Enjoy tonight. Enjoy the rest of the games that are on. And as always, go Big Red.